Hello, back. I fucked up. That was not a proper clap. Yes, I have a smaller bottle this time. I have absorbed the essence of the parent. Now it is time for the child. Okay. Anyways, hello, back to bottom. My name is Beast. Today I'm back with Sky for the Stars. Fine days. I almost said Hoshiori Yamada for some fucking reason. That's already like over a year ago. Jesus Christ. Also, somebody like knocked over everything in here for some reason. I don't know why. Ah! I see! 'Twas my brother! Because the switch is gone. Makes sense. Anyways, yeah, today we'll be doing Hinami, since 3 people overall commented, and two people said they want Hinami, one person said they want Corona. Since those 2 people actually since those 3 people actually spoke up, and 2 outweighs 1, we're doing Hinami. Also, I may actually, once I'm done, depending on how long this takes, play Among Us with some people in the server, and depending on how they feel about it, I may actually record it. But like I said, depending on how they feel. Enemy. This one's was actually in the fridge beforehand, so it's nice and cool. Kind of got the cold. The Meiko Academy Astronomy Club Room. I know what you wanted me to say, but I'm not gonna say it like that. Little fucking perverts. It had almost been 2 years since I started regularly coming here. The club and its activities now felt natural to me. But those days couldn't go on forever. I approached the fall of my 3rd year at Hoshino Daiichi. Just under half a year, I would graduate and leave this academy and familiar astronomy club. Oh, so this is basically gonna be about the struggle of passing on the torch as well. Basically, it's gonna be the thing between Honoka and Orihime in base game. But just in a romantic sense, I guess. Know what I could do? There's just one video without the glasses. My eyes are going to start hurting because I will never use contact lenses. I do not like the idea of putting shit in my eyes. So yeah, that's that. Preparations for such proceeded gradually, day by day. Marked a turning point. There would be an address at today's meeting.
星野第一、マヤの名を冠する天文部、私、山田ひなみは、先日そのきらめきの主たる資格を、先代である空見部長より引き継ぎました。
Yamada greeted everyone at the meeting. She was the junior I went to club together with when I was a 2nd year. I would soon retire, and she became the new president in my place.
まだまだ至らぬ部分も多いかと思いますが、よろしくお願いします。
Deeply bowed, and everyone met her with a genial applause. She finished her address as the new unfaltering president with a resolute face. To outsiders, it may have sounded uneasy, but everyone knew her extreme sincerity.
どうかもしっかり引き継ぎできて何よりか。
Yeah, I'm gonna work hard with what little time I've got left. Here was the 6 Stars Club, a name who we succeeded from the past and rebuilt anew with our own hands. This new generation would surely leave their own new mark. I felt as much from this short moment. Hinami. With the meeting over, we exited the Meiko school building. The air chilled the skins lightly, despite it being the middle of fall. Cold winds blew through the twilight scenery. By the way, something that I'm very hopeful about, except for some reason they didn't think about putting sex scenes for Hinami in this. Because if you actually look through the sprite viewer in the gallery, everyone seems to have a nude skin that has her out, except for Hinami. That's nice. Anyways. Yamada next to me took a deep breath while shrunking into her coat.
大役を無事にこなせて安心しました。
Good work. I think you did well. The activities of the astronomy club naturally came up in conversation. She often held strange worldviews and acted weird. But even still, I knew well that she was more passionate and earnest than anyone towards club work. After so much time working together, she was my most trusted junior. I thought she made a fine president as well.
しかし、私が部長と呼ばれるとは。
Anxious about the job?
大丈夫です。仕事の中身は把握できているかと。ただやはり、私にとって部長とは固有名詞のようなもので。
What do you mean?
部長といえば、空見部長のことだという考えが染みついてしまっています。
So that was it, huh? She certainly did always conscientiously call me that. We've definitely known each other for a long time.
勝手に後輩やってないですね。
Well, I'll have to ask you to call me something different from now
考
on.
えておきましょう。クレアデスの娘マイヤ、ヘルメス、ケリュケイオン。
You don't have to force it to fit into that theme.
そうなんですか？伝統にのっとってと思ったのですが。
Why not just call me senpai like normal?
望みとあらば。ではこれからは先輩で。
Alright. When that presidency handed over, my preparations to part with the astronomy club took a step forward. I became aware of this as I gazed at the cold sky. I was now studying for exams in order to go to college. Would probably end up putting distance between myself and the club, so I could pour my efforts into that. And when that ended, graduation wouldn't be far
どう
off.
しました？
I spontaneously went quiet and Yamada peered at my expression. Also, I will probably have to, like, turn on and off the fan a lot from now on because it is broken. Like, if I set it to, like, rotate, it'll stop. At first, it only stopped at one end if the fan is at a weird angle. Now it straight up goes over there and stops. I don't just mean it stops rotating, it turns off. So yeah, just thinking on how I'll retire soon, and I don't have much time left as your senior.
でも、これからはむつらぼし OB ですよね。いつだって私にとっては尊敬する先輩ですよ。例えるなら生殖超巨星です。
I didn't really get the example, but I got that her respect wasn't a lie. I guess so. I'm grateful to you too.
感謝ですか。
I don't think the club would have been able to continue on like this without you. Thank you for being my junior.
天文部が面白そうだから入っただけですよ。
I'm happy you thought so. It means the Six Stars Club's publicity bore fruit. We created Pleiades 1 and held a stargazing meet as a part of our revival plan. Yamada's joining was a chance to experience the results of that. Six Stars Club's reputation now increased and our activities continued smoothly, but Corona and Yamada's generation, who took an interest a step faster, were a big part of that.
部長で亡くなっても先輩は先輩。だからこれからもむつらぼしの一員でいいじゃないですか。 星見にも今まで通り顔を出すとか、後輩として歓迎しますよ。
That'd be nice, but
ですよね。きっと他のメンバーも。
but I'll be moving next year.
あ、そういえば。
Oops. When exams end, and if I make it into the school I want, I plan to move from Sao Tome. Why is this the only one where he moves? It wasn't that far from Oshinonaka, but still unrealistic to commute to, so I had to look for somewhere to stay close to the school. I wouldn't be able to freely show up here anymore.
離脱先輩。いつかは冥王星よりも遠くまで。
Yamada pensively whispered to herself. She must have felt lonely at my parting from the club. That being the case, I wanted to treat you juniors well. You'll be the leader from now on, after all.
そうですね。期待の重さは伝わっています。これからもその質量を感じながら、ヒックスの海で励んでいきますよ。
Whoops, fuck. I'm counting on you. I'll support you where I can for a while, too.
はい。ありがとうございます。
She lightly bowed to me. A flash of loneliness had already vanished. I could leave the astronomy club in her hands. She firmly accepted that trust. I could rest easily. So I could rest easy. I took a deep breath, and the crisp air flowed deep into my heart.
先輩は。
Yeah?
いえ、何でもありません。
Just She looks away and kept walking. She looked away and kept walking next to me. I looked up again, hesitant to keep staring at her. There were no stars in the burnt sky yet. After a little longer, a beautiful starry sky would expand in its place. That we always sought, would always seek. It connected the companions of the 6 stars and everyone carrying the same feelings. But we couldn't continue on with the same relationships forever. My astronomy club changed to our astronomy club, and then to hers. It wasn't as if I thought nothing of that flow of time. Even I felt lonely. The 6 Stars Club had become a huge part of my life. But I couldn't show that in front of my junior. I wanted to stay her revered senpai. That feeling remained without question. Respect, huh?
どうしました？
I'm just not used to being called revered or anything. I felt a little moved.
謙遜ですね。
She gave a bit of an exasperated smile, but continued speaking kindly.
先輩は尊敬に値する人ですよ。別にお世辞などではありません。
Thanks. She kept her usual calm face. She didn't show emotion often, but passing a time this peacefully wasn't bad. It was my everyday. No. Fall gradually deepened. I worked hard at Sao Tome as always, just before closing time.
空見くん、お疲れ様。そろそろ閉めちゃっていいからね。
Got it. Good work today. There was still some time before closing, but there probably wouldn't be any more customers. I left the register to the manager and went to start cleaning up outside. Freezing. Didn't notice much inside the store, but the night's sting had gotten rather harsh. A little over 2 months remained in the year. Time flew by fast. I quickly collected the trash from the can outside and picked up the garbage that fell. Glanced around the building for anything strange that went back inside.
あ、そうだ。空見くん、ちょっといい？
Did I fuck up reading that? I glanced around the building for anything strange, then went back inside. The manager called out to me as I entered. Yeah, of course.
空見くんにとっては大事なことだろうから、ちゃんと最初に話しておこうと思って。
Okay, what is it? It might have seemed more important than idle chat. In shock at the suddenness, I straightened my posture and pushed on.
ね、そろそろうちで新しくバイトの子を雇おうと思って。
New part-timer. We should have had plenty of hands at the moment. Sense and I were enough to help out the manager's work. If she were to add someone else, one of us would be forced out. Could you Could you be finally thinking of a way to kick out Sensei?
違うって。美晴じゃなくて、空見くんの代わり。
What? Me? No way. I'm being fired? Did I misbehave or something? How would I live from tomorrow on?
ほら、空見くんはそろそろ忙しくなってくるでしょ。受験勉強、ちゃんとやってるのよね。
Yeah, I'm
だ
progressing.
から、今までみたいに仕事続けるの難しいでしょ。その分を埋めるのに新しい人入れようかねって。
I don't need to go as far as cutting down my shifts. I'm fine, I can handle both. I owed a lot to the manager for giving me both lodging and a job. I felt awkward putting my own convenience first, even if it was to repay that debt. But she saw through me and smiled
確かに
dryly.
空見くんには助けてもらってる。真面目に働いてくれるし、ありがたいけどね。一番大事なのは将来なんだから。受験、おろそかにしちゃダメだよ。私にとっ
That's...
ても、空見くんが立派な大人になってくれるのが一番いいことなんだから。
She really just feels like his mom. I slowly nodded. I did start studying late, so the last spurt coming up would probably be pretty time consuming. If I failed after ignoring studies for the sake of continuing work, it would be too miserable to even watch. The manager was certainly being
も
reasonable.
ちろんすぐやめてもらうってわけじゃないわよ。時間を減らして勉強に差し障りがないようにするくらい。
Okay, that would help. I honestly got really want to try one of those meat buns at some point. Like, I've never had tried one of those. Honestly, got slightly curious. This was also a time of various expenses. It'd be a problem if my available money decreased.
まあ新人さん入れるとして仕事を教えるのは空見くんに任せちゃうかね。
That should be fine.
美晴に任せるのは無理だろうし、空見くんなら面倒見がいいから安心して任せられるわ。
I almost asked back where she heard that about me, but her smile had made me hesitate. Come to think of it, Yamada said she respected me too, didn't she? Kinda almost felt creepy.
それに進学したら別の下宿先に引っ越しでしょ。
She spoke with a heartfelt air about her while tidying up behind the counter. Yeah, I plan to. I would leave for Shinonaka City next spring in order to move closer to my school. I would depart this place that had become so utterly familiar as if it were my own home.
だからその時までよろしく頼むよ。空見くんの後継ぎになる店員さんをしっかり育てておくれ。
Got it. Thank you. Honest God, that's another reason why Miharu-Route is the best route, because you give the manager some peace of mind. And she is best mom. You know, until Miharu actually becomes a mother. Anyways, this had to be something I could do for someone I owed so much to. I had to work as hard as possible so the manager could see me off without worry. I'll go to college, enter society, and become a fine adult. Maybe I could finally repay her for all this time through that. For starters, I had to focus on the jobs before me, one at a time. By the way, have you already decided who it'll be?
いや、まだ何も。これから募集かけるつもりだから。
Okay, I wonder if anyone will show up.
きっとなんとかなるでしょ。安心して任せなさいって。
She looked more excited than anxious over the kind of person they would be. Her smile kind of got me eager too. I started cleaning the store while imagining my new junior. It won't be a new junior. The next day I showed my face at the astronomy club. I went with a message about the Six Stars Club, but the mood turned chatty. Although I thought I shouldn't intrude on the current members, I did miss this atmosphere.
コーヒーどうぞ。
Thanks, I
も
won't.
う慣れてきましたけど、先輩のと何か違う気がするんですよね。コツでもあるのかな。
I don't think I do anything special to it, but I guess I'll try making some later
ぜ
too.
ひぜひ参考にさせてもらいます。
Grant coffee the first year girl made, then sighed. Then tickling my nose felt profoundly nostalgic. I would have seemed to be looking things up on the club room's computer. Quiet mood was comfortable. Right as I thought that our eyes met. When they did, she stood up and walked over here.
先輩、肩をお揉みしましょうか。
Huh? Where'd that come from?
先輩が癒しを求めている空気を感じました。
I really can't make you do that. You just relax and do your own thing.
残念。覚えた知識を試せると思ったのに。ひなみん部長、マッサージとか詳しいんです？ついさっき、ネットで予習済み。
I would prefer not to be the guinea pig.
とにかく、今は暇なので、用があれば何なりと申し付けください。
Got it, thanks. Well, you don't really need to be that considerate,
い
though.
えいえ、遠慮なさらず、授業に受験にバイト。先輩もお疲れでしょう。
I see, she was sympathizing with my current situation in her own way. That made me grateful. Yeah, but it looks like I'll have less work soon.
そうなんですか？
The manager said she'd lower my shifts for me since exams are close. Apparently she's hiring a new part-timer in my place.
コンビニ早乙女ですよね。
Yeah, the place we always meet up at. The rest area was the perfect place to meet for the club. The coffee had free refills too. She went back to her computer and started using it again. She looked like she had a new goal in mind rather than just killing time. This casualness too felt nostalgic. Yamada often acted like a bit of a strange one, but she worked for the club with sincerity. She was a strange girl who liked words like Big Crunch, Red Shift, Gamma Ray Burst, Event Horizon. And she was now the leader of the astronomy club. I watched her growth from the side the entire time.
先輩、どうかしました？
No, not really. I guess I was soaking in the club room's nostalgia.
時間があったらまた来てください。ちゃんともてなしますよ。
Well, thanks. Coming here really made me feel it. I lamented parting with this club. That is why this casualness felt precious. You could feel at ease in this room, even without anything particularly special going on. I came home to Satomi in the evening as always. As I went inside, the manager stood there watching the store.
おかえりなさい、空見くん。
I'm back! I'll get ready to work. I was in charge of the night shift today as well. I finished changing and cleaning up, then got ready to work hard.
そうそう。バイト募集なんだけど、早速応募の電話が来たの。
Already? That was fast. Part-time at Satomi was that popular? That was
それ
surprising.
で明日来てもらうことになったから。空見くん、面接お願いできる？
Huh? Not you?
学生の子だし、同年代なら話しやすいでしょ。断るつもりもないし。
Well, if that's the case, where are they from, by the way? They were probably within the city if they were coming here. Maybe even Moshino Daiichi. Imagine opened her pocketbook and answered.
名前が山田ひなみって女の子。
Yamada! Shouted without thinking at the unexpected
あら、
name.
知ってるの？
Don't worry, she's a junior from the astronomy club. She's been here before.
どの子？
Hair about this length, sleepy eyes.
あの真面
About
目そうな
this
子。
length. More like. Yeah, it was about this length. She never formally introduced herself, but we gathered numerous times with her in front of the manager. If you set aside her eccentricities, she definitely did seem like did seem like a serious girl. But Yama part-time at a convenience store. Would you perform her work on some universal scale? Honestly, couldn't really picture it.
まあ空見くんの後輩なら安心できるわ。明日はよろしくね。
Right. Rather than I thought I'd get a junior at work, it ended up being a junior I already had. I never expected this development. Though it was only for appearances, I still had to interview her properly. I could ask her things on my mind, like why she came here. It was actually perfect. With that in mind, I started feeling excited for tomorrow. The next day at the appointed time.
Yamada Hinami です。
Without any punchline, like being some girl with the same name, the part-time candidate who came to Saotome was none other than Yamada herself. Perfectly. There were no customers, so I used the eating space to start the interview right away. So, Himari Yamada, I'm Sarami, and I'll be in charge of your interview.
よろしくお願いします、先輩。
Alright, no senpai here. Let's try and get that right.
バイトの先輩なら先輩でもいいのでは？
It hasn't been decided if you've passed yet.
私落ちるんですか？
No, well, the manager said she doesn't intend to fail you,
な
but...
ら OK です。私やる気は人一倍ありますので。
She squeezed her fist in a demonstration. I could tell she was taking this seriously and not as a joke. Anyway, how about your resume?
はい、抜かりありません。
She presented it, and I looked over its contents. Ah, her birthday is February 1st.
先輩の金銭に触れるような部分はありましたか？
No, I just thought it was unexpectedly normal.
その言い方は若干失礼では。
Sorry. I thought it would have definitely been overflowing with the enigmatic mysteries of space. On the contrary, a serious profile of her was recorded in clean letters. Experience and qualifications weren't that crucial to the job, so her self-introduction... What's this about the reason for your application? To bring new age innovations to Saotome?
よくぞ聞いてくれました。早乙女が星の中というマーケットでのバリューを確立するには、ベストプラクティスをファクトベースとした明確なビジネススキームが必要なのは周知の事実でしょう。
What is this, a business class?
つまりは的確なセグメンテーションとターゲッティング、各々のペルソナにフィットしたアジャイルな戦略こそが高いプライオリティのイシューとして存在しています。
You're applying to be a part-time clerk, not an executive fucking worker!
そこで私が提案するのは、タキオのように迅速な広大なマクロコスモスを強く意識した経営。これにより早乙女がマルチバースに展開する未来を。
Look at this face. That is smugness incarnate. No, just look at that smug face. You know what that noise means. Someone's streaming a porn game over in Buskworth server again. Whoops. Okay, so I just checked over in the Discord because I wanted to post that screenshot. Smug. And in general, I just see somebody posting 3 VN database profiles for 3 characters in Nanaido Reincarnation with the words, by the way, Beast, these are 3 of the heroines in Nanaido Reincarnation. It's not like I'm tempting you or your preferences for hot mature women or anything, not at all. Fushimi Azusa, a newly promoted detective. Hichikata Yumi, a junior who attends the same university. Kikyo, demon. Wasn't expecting that. I was not expecting that. Just had to respond to that. This isn't that kind of store.
響きませんでしたか？
Well, your motivation got through.
遊ぶ金欲しさとかの方が親近感がありますかね。
That's wrong too. It really wouldn't have been good if she came with such a suspicious excuse. This is mostly just for formality, so you don't need to psych yourself up that much.
そうなんですか？
Like I said before, I said so before, but the manager seems ready to hire you already. It seems she likes you.
電話での印象がそんなに？
Well, something like because you're my junior.
それなら納得です。
Oh, she's satisfied. What kind of logic was that? So, to get into the specifics, have you heard the rate already?
はい。昨日電話で軽く。依存ないです。
Assuming you join us, how often can you work?
授業の後ならいつでも。今までの先輩の分は働くつもりです。
So, you really did apply after hearing about that.
はい。後輩ですから。
The spider, I love the smug so much. Okay, so apparently the person who shared those profiles was hoping that I would put a multiplier in for Nanaito reincarnation. I don't plan on putting multipliers. The only reason why I did multipliers is the 2 times multiplier in the other vote, because I already had the games ready and downloaded. And the 0.5 multiplier on IX Shita because of its recency. And the fact that nobody has made any videos on it. It would bring viewers, is what I'm trying to say. And viewers bring potential subscribers. And I'm also trying to get those. You know. I'm still not gonna play it if nobody wants me to. Went ahead and added that to her reason for applying, just in case. It was like this when she joined the club too, but she showed tremendous energy over things she was interested in. If she had an interest towards working as well, there should be no problems. Having a newbie this quickly would also help give me a leeway with time.
はい、お茶どうぞ。面接は順調？
The manager prepared tea and called to us. So I don't think there are any issues.
山田さんね。とりあえず採用ってことでいい？
はい。ありがとうございます。
Just as she said she would. If there were no outstanding problems, she readily decided on
じ
it.
ゃあ早速来週から来てもらおうかね。
了解です。あとメモ。
Went over the working terms and such as she reliably took notes on her phone. It kind of reminded me of when I started working here.
しばらくは空見くんと一緒に入って仕事を覚えてもらうから。知り合いならその辺楽になるでしょ。はい。
こちらとしても助かります。先輩の人柄ならよくわかっていますから。
本当に仲がいいんだね。She said those things with the usual composure, but she also seemed happy. It was the results of our long relationship. Until now, that allowed me to notice those subtleties about her.
これでまた後輩になれましたね。ご指導ご鞭撻よろしくお願いします。
Yeah, I'm glad we can work together. I lowered my head at her courteous bow. Did I accidentally say courteous? Courteous. An unexpected event occurred this fall, just half a year until I left the nest. I felt a premonition that it may become the spark for a change in Yamada and I's relationship. Also, I may every now and again take a bite from this. Just because I'm honest to God feeling somewhat exhausted today for some reason, I have no idea. And that's basically just to give me some energy. And if you don't know what that is, you've been missing out. Hold on, let me just increase the size on that because I can. Like this, I suppose. Then let's go ahead and transform. There you go. Note it down. Milka. Extremely good chocolate. At this point, probably the only chocolate I actually eat. So yeah. If you ever want good chocolate, go ahead and check that out. That's all I wanted to say. Now, back to this side. Also, let me just... Seal a rib. The Saotome convenience store stood beneath the fall sky, right across from the train station as always. I checked the new work procedure while looking out at the familiar scenery. Yamada went from a fellow clubmate to a fellow co-worker. From now on, I was both her senior and instructor. Today was her first day. I awaited her while looking over the procedure. She came from the back after a while. What the fuck? So some popped up just now. This just randomly popped up down here. I have no idea what it means. Let me just close it. Is that the random problem that for some reason... What the fuck? Like, was that the random problem that for some reason caused problems with this game that caused it to be released later? Because I remember something in Hinami-Route was bugging out, so they had to fix it before actually releasing this. Was that it? She donned an apron over her casual clothes like me. It gave a fresh impression. Not bad. Could you say that about work clothes? Then let's look at the procedure for starters. Connect hearts. Started teaching her the fundamentals of dealing with customers and how to work the register. I heard work at franchises covered lots of things and was hard work, but the local privately managed Saotome was comparatively lax. Working the register, had to bag, understanding the items behind the counter, operating the thermal insulation case. It was her first day, so I started just having her get a general grasp of things without spending too much time on that stuff. Yeah, that's the gist of it. I'll teach you the nitty-gritty later. She nodded repeatedly while jotting down memos. I guess next we'll wait for customers. No, I'll have you watch me first. Once you got a handle on it, I'll let you take over. It wasn't that difficult, but I planned to move one step at a time according to procedure. This happens occasionally. When they do come, they come in hordes. If you let your guard down, when there aren't that many, you'll instantly have a line waiting. The life story of convenience stores, not just convenience stores. As we talked, a customer came in right on cue. Now the opponent I would show off Saotome style service on would be... Oh no. Yeah.
いらっしゃいませ。
Old Man Champ's shoulders visibly jerked at Yamada's voice. Of all times for him to show up. Talk about unlucky.
どういうことじゃ
Sorry, there are circumstances at play. Answered his reproachful gaze with feelings of apology. Maybe I should have her step out for a moment.
では、手順を観察。目で盗んで覚えろ。ですね、先輩。
I guess I had to tell her, huh? So Yamada, that's the person I call Old Man Champ, and
聞いたことがあります。プレアデス1号の制作に協力してくれた大恩人だという話を。
oh, he's blushing.
名前は確か、少年ジャンプを隠れ蓑にして、いかがわしい。
She noticed.
すみません。私は後ろを向いているので。
Well, even if you try to act considerate.
でもこれでは、先輩の接客術が見られないじゃないですか。
Confusion! He started spinning around in a rare display of panic. I too was at a loss for how to gain control of the situation.
ほれ
At some point, while we lost our heads, Old Man Champ came to the register. I didn't think there was any way he would, but what he presented was... That'll be 255 yen. Just a single volume of the Weekly Shonen Champ. His shopping finished, he left the store. I saw him off, my chest tight with trembling emotion. Old Man Champ. Such a noble self-sacrifice. Even though he could have left right as he saw Yamada at the register, he went out of his way to buy something in order to teach her customer service. Going through a young girl at the register must have been trying, yet he overcame that pain for us. The only words I could find were, "Thank you."
あれ、いかがわしい本は。
Just this once, that wasn't Old Man Champ. It was just a normal customer for us.
先輩、どうしてそんなやりきった男のような表情を。
You don't need to worry about it. There are some things only men understand.
置いてけぼりな気がして、少し悔しいのですが。
Right, ready to continue your register training?
よろしくお願いします。
With that, I continued instructing her. Kinda like that. Do you have the general idea?
はい、おそらく。
I showed her examples of handling customers for a while, and it was almost time to let her practice herself. Okay, I'll leave the next person to you.
ついに実践ですね。
We switched places, and she stood there with a somewhat determined expression. A customer came to the register before long.
豚まんを2つ
豚まん2つ入りました。
I'll push that. 2 pork buns is the total.
はい、了解です。
While Yamada worked the register, I took the pork buns out of the insulation case and wrapped them up.
豚まん2つお待たせしました。こちらお釣りとレシートになります。ありがとうございました。
She handed over the items, change and receipt, then saw the customer off with a clear greeting. She pulled off the string of movements I taught her well.
どうでしょうか。
Yep, perfect. Let's try going like this for a bit.
はい、お任せください。ありがとうございました。
Yama handled numerous customers after that, each time fulfilling her job reliably. In the downtime, I right away started teaching her details about using the register. I don't think you'll need to often, but if you run out of receipt paper, you open this.
交換ですね。わかります。
It wasn't all that complicated and easy to work with at a glance, but he seemed to get used to it awfully fast. At this rate, she would soon exceed Sensei's customer service skill. In her case, she had just had a ton of awful stat debuffs though.
ここは電子マネーですよね。
That's right. If to ask for it, you push that.
客側からは見えませんでしたが、こうなっているんですか。あ、いらっしゃいませ。
Welcome. Just then another customer entered. They took a hot drink from the shelf and came to the
あ
register.
りがとうございます。こちら1点で140円に。
電子マネーでお願いします。
かしこまりました。
She took a resolute look and managed what I just taught her. She smoothly handled the transaction, and the customer left.
どうでしょう。ぶっつけ本番でした。
You did well, full points.
自分でも驚いています。隠れた才能が眠っていたのかもしれません。ギフテッドですよ。
She looks at me and smiled a little smugly. Yes. Our senior-junior relationship here was different from that at the club. More fun than I thought. Yep, now I can rest easy. Good job, Yamada. Yes! 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 Anyways, let's stop that before my head starts getting woozy. I put my support for her hard work into a head pat as she looked up at me. She just stood there, being pat for a while without saying anything. Wait, what was I doing? This was definitely brazen. Sorry, I just, yeah, that was weird. I got a little embarrassed and pulled my hand away. She seemed to chase it with her eyes. Awkward, I had to change the subject. Next, this... Huh? In a 180 from her smug smile, she looked disappointed. She stared at me with a furrowed brow. I didn't understand her for a split second, but she meant having her head petted? Up, you want me to pet you more? Enjoyed I could pet her for praise from now on. Rather, she was saying I should. Pet this girl right this second! No, that's not it. As long as you're fine with something like that. She was oddly picky about head pets. I might have been seeing an unforeseen side to her. Of course, such easily noticeable opportunities wouldn't just fall from the sky. Things very well could be left vague. Or so I thought.
11番カートンで。
11番のタバコですね。
Immediately showing off the fruits of my instruction, she quickly found the brand, took it out, and gave it to the customer. Her movements were fluent and unlike a just-hired newbie.
ありがとうございました。
She saw them off, then sighed. She flashed a smug smile as if showing off how much easier could it be to understand her. I expected no less of you.
それほどでもです。
I mean, she's already better than Corona in my mind. She smiled satisfyingly as I patted her head. It was kind of like you showed even more motivation than before.
明確な褒美があるとやはり違うものですよ。
This makes you that
意
happy?
識してはいませんでしたが、さっき撫でられたとき、嬉しくなりました。
That's so. Mustering the courage to try touching her didn't feel bad to me, at least. Her body ate at my fingertips, the sensation of her silky hair, and that pleased expression with her narrowed eyes. Made me want to spoil her forever. She looked so comfortable letting herself be pat just like a cat. In the end, we spent the time together behind the counter until the next customer came. Half a month passed since Yamada started working part-time. She studiously learned her job and could even handle customers on her own without issue. It was still too early to leave her on her own, but the need for me to stay by her behind the counter lessened. So I remained on standby in case she needed help with something while I continued my studying. I watched over her as I did so today, like I always did.
いらっしゃいませ。
She greeted customers with a firm voice as they came.
会計432円になります。
When they came to counter, she completed the transaction with
あ
fluidity.
りがとうございました。
Didn't forget to thank them either. Even the customers seemed pleased with her polite attitude. Yeah, this was her first job, but the way she absorbed what I taught her and made use of it spoke to her merit. With no customers or work to be done, she stood quietly behind the counter without slacking off. I wonder what she was thinking about. Our eyes met. She came out from behind the counter and to the eating space.
勉強は順調でしょうか。
Thanks to you, you're a huge help. She hardly ever called me with a problems. I carefully went through my
で
studies.
はコーヒーでも。空見くんは無料でいいと店長も言ってました。い
Yeah, thanks. You're going to rest a bit too?
え、大丈夫です。
Isn't it hard just waiting on people? I had an abundance of time on my hand while waiting on customers too. Sensei would normally start playing a
大
game.
丈夫です。暇つぶしは得意なので。
You're good at it?
星間ガスから始まる星の一生を思い浮かべていれば、時間は勝手に過ぎていきます。
Oh, I see. Maybe your skills in daydreaming were actually perfect for working as a clerk. Time passed and sunset. It was almost time for Yamada to clock out.
ただいま。二人ともお疲れ様。
The manager came back from her outing and showed her appreciation through her
お
words.
疲れ様です、店長。仕事も順調でした。
うんうん。頑張ってるのね。山田さんが来てくれてほんと助かってるよ。もしよければ豚まん食べていって。サービスするからね。
ありがとうございます。いただきます。
The manager took quite a liking to Yamada's passion towards work. She indulged her just like a daughter. I felt that was rude to the real one. They gave off that. Though I felt that was rude to the real one, they gave off that atmosphere.
そうだ、空見くん。お願いしたい仕事があるんだけど、いい？
I don't mind. I was able to get a lot of studying done in the afternoon. Yamada was helpful to me, too. I quite welcomed it if she could work my
ポ
part.
ップっていうの？棚に飾る紹介の紙。新商品のを作ってほしいのよ。
ポップ作り？
Fuck. Yamada answered before I could.
あら、どうしたの？山田さん。
その仕事、手伝いましょう。
She declared with a resolute face. Was making signs really worth all that sparkle in her
でも
eyes?
山田さん、もう上がりでしょ？遅くなっちゃうし、そこまでは。
興味深い仕事なので、ぜひやらせてもらいたいです。
あらまあ、そんなに熱心に。なら空見くんと二人に任せようかね。
I don't mind either. I gladly answered her request. I didn't exactly have confidence in my taste, but more than anything, Yamada's eagerness intrigued
じゃ
me.
あ、落ち着いたら私がレジやるから。 二人で適当にやっちゃってね。
ラジャーです。
I saw the nighttime scenery outside the window. Yamada and I sat around a table and started making signs. We looked at the product flyers, thinking of how to convey their charms concisely and honestly. I guess you could say this is a job for the clerk's that was unique to privately run stores. As for how Yamada was faring, she started to stare at the new product's packaging in deep thought. Was it rare for her to be this serious? Why are you so into this?
インスピレーションの勝負。かっこいいじゃないですか。
Oh, is that what it is? She looked around outside and inside packaging itself, searching for a source of imagination. Then she turned her eyes to the expansive night sky. Something wrong with the sky?
照明が眩しくて星は見えませんね。闇色の夜空。でもそこには無数の星が存在していて。
She ran her pen over the paper and completed the half-finished sign.
一口で感じるミクロコスモス。
Why is there so much smug with her? Why is it always the lollies that are the most smug? She read aloud her catchphrase with an emphatically smug face. It's just chocolate.
例えるなら夜空はチョコレートのようなものかと。一見すればただの黒い塊ですが、その甘さは星の輝きにも劣りません。
I see.
我ながらうまいことを言ったと思うのですが、どうでしょうか。
I guess it's fine. Honestly, I was a bit iffy on it as an introduction to some candy, but I didn't have the courage to rain on her heartfelt happiness.
乗ってきました。次はこの炭酸飲料ですか。海洋深層水を使ったそうだ。ミネラルたっぷり。美容と健康に。
Oh no, what's it gonna be?
新宇宙からのメッセージ。
She shut up the sign and she poured her heart into, looking triumphant. I feel like space isn't
五
relevant.
感が似ていればいいんです。
Yeah.
自分の才能が恐ろしくなってきました。売り上げアップは間違いなしです。さて次は激辛スナック。
She better use something with supernova. Aren't you good with spicy foods?
はい、割と。つまりこれも得意分野ですね。この辛さ、ガンマ線バースト級。
She already lost me in what she was trying to express, but she gave a satisfied smile. The benevolent manager should excuse this bit of playfulness. I want to believe as much. Manager, probably. Anyways, guess I'll think of something. It might end up feeling different from yours, though. She replied with her gaze, without assenting or denying. Sound of pens and cutting tools filled the store. By the way, Yamada, why did you start getting into this hobby? I thought science was wasteful, so I asked her a
専
question.
門ですか？ちゃんと始めたのは入部してからですよ。
But you came because you were interested in stars, right? Well, like all that cool-sounding space knowledge, was there something that sparked your interest? Tried to somewhat gently point out the spacey things that often came out of her words and out in her words and actions. Thought that the heart-throbbing romance of space was a relatively major part of it, but that wasn't average in her case. She had to have some reasons.
難しい質問ですね。
She made a strenuous face and went into deep thought.
きっかけがあるかというと、少々疑問です。
You aren't really sure yourself?
はい。きっと生まれつきの性分で変わった子なんです。きっと先輩と同じです。
Me? I'm that weird? She sent words at me from an unexpected direction. She smiled when I tilted my head.
変わっていると思いますけど、部室で寝泊まりしていたとか、初めて聞いたときは冗談かと。
I guess that's true.
そのために廃部寸前の天文部に残っていたとか、活動はしないけど星を見に山に登っていたとか、十分に変わり者ですよ。
I can only agree after hearing that pointed out. Though I was deadly serious about those things for the most part. In terms of incompatibility with other people, I certainly may have been exactly as she said.
そういうのかっこいいと思ったんです。
Huh? Cool. I would have continued in the middle of my confusion. I was taking her words negatively. She smiled at me in denial of that.
先輩が持っている星への情熱、私も似たものを持ってますから、宇宙の神秘はかっこいいし、それを追っている先輩だって同じです。
Oh, thanks.
なぜ俺を？
Well, that was the first time anyone's said that about me. Hikari and my other friends at the Six Stars Club shared my position and feelings. But Yamada saw me from behind, held something like admiration for me. Maybe that was why she became the first person to feel like a junior to me. She legitimately looked up to me as her senior. I knew that well after how long we've known each other. Maybe this is a little late, but why did you start working here? Missed my sentiments? That question suddenly sprang to me. Didn't get to answer I didn't get to hear the answer clearly during the interview.
先輩をサポートしたかったんです。
She answered honestly and without
や
hesitation.
はり先輩は私にとっては恩人ですし、
I haven't done all that
謙
much.
遜しないでください。私は実際そう思ってるんですから。
She plainly admonished me. Come to think of it, she wasn't the kind of person to flatter over things like this.
私は天文部に入ってよかったと思ってます。天文部は心地よい場所ですし、毎日楽しいですよ。そんな場所をくれた先輩にしっかり感謝を示さないと。
I'm happy if that's how you feel. It makes the hard work worth it. From now on, I want you to work hard too, to keep it that way. What's most important is making the club feel comfortable to newcomers.
そうですね。責任重大です。
Like before, she hesitated for an instant. Maybe she had her own things to consider from this exchange. I'm grateful to you too. Just might be. That instant of silence signified the loneliness she spoke of before. So I want to respond to her honest words with my own honest feelings as her senior. For being my junior, and for starting this job. Working with you has been so much more fun than I thought it would be.
先輩が喜んでいるなら何よりです。
Yeah, I'm happy. So thank you. Sincerely felt the time I spent teaching in the job, the time we spent working together like this was fun. The time we spent at the astronomy club was comfortable, not just for her, but for me as well. Even as I parted ways with it and awaited graduation, Yamada stayed with me as always. It made me extremely happy that way. That feeling seemed to exist inside me.
ストレートに言われると少しむずがゆいですね。
How do you think I felt when you did the same?
そうですか。確かに。
She scribbled with her pen and continued her work with the signs, looking vaguely cheerful. Our relationship lasted long enough that I could notice those subtle emotions even among her usual stoicism. I A little over 4 months remained until graduation. Maybe in time, it would reach a turning point. Oh. Half of November flew by, and the morning chill grew harsher. I worked until the evening with Yamada, who'd gotten completely familiar with the job.
お疲れ様。今夜は二人とも出かけるんでしょ？
はい。今日は月食ですよ。
We had a stargazing meet planned today with the Six Stars Club. It wouldn't be very large scale, but it was a valuable chance to stargaze for me right in the middle of studying. We would be able to see the eclipse right after sunset during moonrise. It was only a partial eclipse, but carefully observing it and preserving it in pictures would be a meaningful club activity.
二人分の空撃を作ってしまうのは心苦しい気持ちもありますが。
いいのよ。このままだと山田さんが優秀すぎて、美春が余計にサボりたがるからね。
私の存在がそんな作用を。
Manager answered like normal and to her cosmic-like words. Seems she was fairly used to this place. She learned her job with enthusiasm and took charge of quite a few shifts. Just as the manager said, her influence certainly seemed to lessen Sensei's occasions to watch the store. When I move at some point, the shop will be between the three of them. Looking at Yamada now, there wouldn't be any worries about a lack of help at least.
そういえば、もうそろそろ1ヶ月だね。来月には給料渡せるから、楽しみにしててちょうだい。
期待してます。
もう少しタイミングがずれてたら、もっと早く給料渡せたんだけど、遅くなっちゃってごめんね。
大丈夫です。お金のための仕事ではありませんし。
ああ、そんなことも言ってたっけ。けなげでいい子なんだから、本当に。
I asked Yamada about the reason for her working when I talked to her before. If I recall, she responded with a serious face. Support you. Alright, ready to go, Yamada?
はい、準備 OK です。楽しい月食観察ですね。
いってらっしゃい。楽しんできなよ。
We finished preparing necessities and left the store. We were going to head to the meeting spot by bike. Yamada came to Sao Tome in the same way.
結構ガタが来てますね。
The bike creaked upon loading her luggage onto it. Is that a hand-me-down from your family?
母より譲り受けたものです。山田家の歴史が刻まれています。
I don't think it'll fall apart all of a sudden, but it still looks like it could use some maintenance.
悩ましいです。
She poked the joints of the front basket with a glum face. She probably used her bike a good amount, so it must have been rough. Buying a new one with her paycheck could be an option too. By the way, have you decided how you'll use your money?
私ですか？特に何も。不確定の未来ですね。
You said that to the manager too? I remember the conversation earlier.
はい。以前に聞かれましたので。
山田さんはどうしてうちで働こうと思ったの？
志望理由ですか？
うん、ちょっと気になっただけ。やっぱり欲しいものがあったり？
いえ、そういうものは特に。
そうなの？でも募集始めてすぐに来てくれたし、何か理由があるのかって思ったんだけど。
理由は先輩です。
空見くん？
はい。先輩が困っていると聞きましたので、私にできることがあれば、と。
まあ、なんてけなげな。
どうして頭を撫でるんですか？
先輩のためにバイトまで始めるなんて、なんていじらしい子なの？今時いないでしょう。
そんなに面白がられる話でしたか？
面白がるなんて、むしろ応援するから。これからもうちで頑張りなさい。
はい。よろしくお願いします。
Whoops.
そんな感じで。おかしな返答だったでしょうか。
Yeah, I wonder. Was far off from the average reason, that was for sure.
変わり者扱いなら慣れていますが。
She looked at me a bit troubled. Something bothering you?
早乙女で仕事していても、先輩がそばにいると、つい自然体で振る舞ってしまいます。そのことで、先輩に迷惑をかけていたりはしないでしょうか。
Of course not. Like I said, I'm more grateful than anything. Working felt way more fun than ever since you came.
そうですか。
I really liked the time we spent together in the astronomy club. And ever since we started working together like this, I enjoyed that sort of atmosphere. I generally felt that.
ならいいです。では、行きましょうか。
We pedaled and set off. Her profile as she rode her bike really did look somehow happy. We came to the observation spot just before sunset. We planned to watch the moon rise after the sunset and the sky grew dark. It would normally be a full moon around this time, but it would climb the eastern sky, waned with Earth's shadow. We would be able to watch it for about 3 hours.
あ、空見先輩、来てくれたんですか?
The junior who came earlier noticed us and came out. Hey there, you guys went through the trouble, so every now and then wouldn't hurt.
先輩は星の光がないと調子が悪くなりますし。
Hold on, since when did I become such a mysterious creature like that?
でも気持ちはわかりますよ。気分転換にはぴったりですもんね。
It's been quite a while since I attended the Six Stars Club meet, what with exam studying. To tell the truth, retired third year didn't need to, but I had Yamada let me accompany her when I heard it from her. The reason being, well, not that far off from what she said. In short, I wanted to gaze at the night sky on occasion.
せっかくの観測日和ですからね。ジャイアントインパクト以来繰り返されている天体ショーは今日も堪能します。
She probably understood my feelings too. Her fearless smile was somehow gentle.
他のところだと3年生の先輩は来ていないですよね。
No help in that. This time of year is rough for them. It's just rough for them with exams and stuff. Sai and Hikari were absent today, leaving me the only third year here. Everyone was giving it their all towards their own paths, and the other members cheered them
そ
on.
んな中できっちり出席。やはり先輩は筋金入りのスターゲイザーですね。
It is the best soundtrack, what? My studying's been going well thanks to you. I can at least take things easy for today.
そうでした。私に感謝ですね。
I continue stargazing at a time like this thanks to her. I could continue stargazing at a time like this thanks to her. Wouldn't forget my gratitude for that.
ならせっかくですし、感謝の気持ちを示してほしいものです。
You want
今日
something?
は一緒に月を見ましょう。月食観察の指南お願いします。
Got it. If that's what you're okay with, I'll stick around as much as you want. Rather, I already intended to. I decided to enjoy this moon viewing together with my juniors tonight. I borrowed some binoculars from a Moto High student and started watching the eclipse. The sun sank and the color of the night dyed the sky. I pointed the binoculars at the rising moon. The light was too bright to look at through a telescope, so the magnification of binoculars fit just right.
バッチリ欠けていますね。エクリプスです。
Though it didn't reach a full eclipse, we should be able to see a large portion hidden by the Earth's shadow. At a glance, it looked no different from its normal waxing and waning, but the shadow of the moon itself differed in form to the shadow of the earth during an eclipse. Teaching people those differences that you wouldn't notice unless you paid attention was another of the Six Stars Club's jobs. I remember that one time in grade school where people laughed at me because I mentioned a lunar eclipse, and they just wouldn't believe me that they existed. I even explained it's like when the Earth is between the moon and the sun, so the Earth's shadow is hitting the moon, but they wouldn't fucking believe me and just kept laughing, so, school fucking sucks. I'm still bitter about that. I don't remember who it was. I'm gonna beat the shit out of him at some point. Why did I remember that?
皆既月食みたいに月が赤くなることはないんですよね。
I don't think so. You won't be able to see red until it's fully
あ
hidden.
の感じも好きですが、また次の機会を待ちましょう。
Six Stars members held observations for the Six Stars members held observations for a full eclipse they got to see in the early summer of this year. Once the day passed, the next chance would be next fall. I probably wouldn't be here anymore by then. I had no doubts the club would continue. My juniors would surely liven things up just like we did. I wonder if I could do anything as a graduate about to leave the nest. Those thoughts suddenly floated to mind.
先輩、
Just thinking about next year a little.
卒業後ですか？
Yeah, since there's so many more people. I was thinking that not only the Six Stars Club, but Hoshino Daiichi's Astronomy Club might be able to do something too. It's up to you, of course, though. But maybe you'd be able to do things my generation couldn't.
そうですね。そういう考えはなくもないです。
Right? I think we'll have lots of stuff you can do.
むしろ具体的なプランもあります。
Really? For example? She already had her eyes on next year and plans made. She took the club even more seriously than I did. Brought a tear to my eye.
部を立て直した修正名誉部員として先輩の肖像を部室に飾るとか。
What? Okay, I wasn't expected.
彼ら天文部のオリジナル唱歌を作るとか。おーおー、空見、空見。
Yeah, don't. Hold on, wait. You aren't doing anything related to astronomy, at least?
そうしたいのは山々ですが。
Is there some problem?
その方向の活動を広げるには、いろいろと入りようでしょう。でも今は、部費もありませんし。
Oh, that's right. I forgot that vital point. Hoshino Daiichi's Astronomy Club was originally on the verge of disbandment. Though it now continued to grow, it would be unreasonable for it to have expensive astronomy equipment. I wonder if there was any way I could have even used a plentiful budget in a cultural club without any standout appeal in the first place. I was never aware of that area, so I didn't actually know.
できることは、借り物の双眼鏡で天体観測。難しいですね。
Sorry, I should have done something about
い
that.
え、落ち込まないでください。これから変えていけば。
Even still, I could have at least showed off our results from last year and gotten a budget. Yamada? She froze silent. She's quietly stared through the board binoculars, and in the next instant,
そうです。これですよ。
she suddenly shouted, "What is it?"
バイト代の使い道。これです。
Binoculars?
はい。結構いいもの買えますよね。
She posed, raising them above her
バイ
head.
ト代で買って、星野第一天文部 で使うんです。これはきっと天文部にとって偉大な一歩となるでしょう。
That's gracious of you, but
先輩は不服ですか？
that's your money. You can use it on something you want. You more want for yourself, you know? More so than for the club. She wanted things for astronomical observation. There was no need for her to bend over backwards. If she put it in a proper request form, she could probably be able to procure it.
いいえ、私にとっては今一番欲しいものです。
But she slowly shook her head.
私は星を見るのが好きですし、天文部で過ごすのも好きなんです。だからこれは私がやりたいことでしょ？
I see. She smiled proudly as always, but the smile looked even brighter than any I'd seen before. The way she endeavored for something she loved was dazzling. I only just now realized something so obvious. I mean, she was a little weird, but she genuinely loved the stars. She was a member at the Six Stars Club, and she was my precious junior.
我ながら天才的ひらめきですよ。後でネットで調べ物です。
That'll help too. If you look in the club room, some catalogs may... If we look in the club room, some catalogs may turn up.
よろしくお願いします。
Whoops.
給料日が楽しみです。
She smiled cheerfully. Her cuteness made me spontaneously grin as well. She looked so carefree, but that vigor saved me. Hold on. Also, someone recently joined the server, basically asking, since that Toshokan no Itsuji guy wouldn't work. I helped him, and now he is basically sharing his reactions to various moments, and it's honestly kind of funny. For example, biologically he appears to be a cat, and just appears and is are two different things. Just panic. Panic. She lived so carefree, but I already read that. I was so grateful for her coming to work, for working towards the club's activities. Let's see. Maybe you really could call her admirable. I felt like I understood the manager's words.
あれ、ここは頭を撫でるタイミングですか？
Impulsively patted her head. Well, I just felt like it. I'll stop if you don't like it.
いえ、続けてくださ
I'm
い。
gonna take a short break once the scene finishes. Thanks. She narrowed her eyes and leaned her body against mine like a small animal. We spent the time together in a corner of the clearing while everyone enjoyed the night sky show in their own ways. There we go. So. Next line, please. There we go. So yeah, I'm gonna go take a break now. Alright, yeah, I'm back. And also, just so you know, I almost get a heart attack every time I come back from my little breaks because the bars that show me the audio levels, they're still going off, and it looks like that it's just text going on. So for a second, I thought that I always think that I accidentally turned on auto. Anyways, the moon passed and December came. Only 1 month remained in the year. Memorable day for Yamada finally arrived.
ワクワク、ワクワク。
それじゃ、山田さん、バイトお疲れ様。
Payday at Satomi came at the beginning of the month. The contents of the physical envelope, something rarely given nowadays, held a definite weight. I was already used to it, but this was Yamada's first check.
まるでグレートウォールのような存在感。これが
山田さんすごい頑張ってくれたから少し色つけておいたわよ。
She lovingly rubbed the envelope with an expression full of emotion. Seeing the receiver this happy would probably make the giver feel the
これ
same.
だけあれば欲しいものには十分すぎます。
あらまあ、買うものは決まったの？
はい。ですから
She looked at
先
me.
輩にお願いです。私の買い物に付き合ってもらえないでしょうか。
For binoculars? Yeah, of course, I don't mind.
お願いします。
双眼鏡？
I like how he said, like immediately, for binoculars, gotta make sure that none of those nasty misunderstandings happen.
天体観測のために月とか銀河とかうちの天文部には機材が少ないので、ならば私がと。
なるほどね。そういう使い方なら渡す方も安心ね。でもてっきり洋服買うとか遊びに行くとかそういう感じかと思ってたわ。
So she thought the same as I had.
いえ、一番欲しいものですから。
But Yamada still answered decisively with a firm
本
heart.
当に真面目でいい子なんだから。
I like how if I never took off my headphones to check, to like fix it, the way they sit, or just itch my ear, you could potentially think I actually have rather short hair, but then you know it just comes off, it's just this shit. I mean, low-key, I'm just like, go here, just stand up. My hair used to go all the way down here. Potentially even lower, I think. So yeah, I used to have very long hair. I think one of those pictures of me with long hair is even like an emote on the Discord server, where I just sit there like honest God, I only remind myself of the aliens dude in that picture. Like apparently my mom just like sneakily took that picture while we were out with the family at like an inn, like a pub, I guess you could say. I don't know. A bit chuffed! There we fucking go. Her attitude seemed to tug at the manager's heartstrings, as even she looked full of deep emotion. So, I'd like to go out with Yamada next weekend or so. Would that be fine?
平気平気。空見くんの勉強だって順調でしょ。美春にみっちり入ってもらうから。たまには二人で羽伸ばしてきなさい。
Thank you. Tell Sensei says thanks.
楽しみ。
Sometime after, Yamada continued looking through catalogs any chance she had. On the other hand, I contacted our other 6 stars friends and did plenty of research on nearby stores. The Admirable Junior would shop with money she earned for the first time. Felt sincerely happy that I could help her with that. Then the weekend came. We waited for the bus at the station plaza outside Sao Tome late in the morning. We were heading to Harbour Town, so as we'd heard there were shops dealing with electronics like cameras and such.
もうすぐこの手に新たな光をもたらす力が、アンドロメダ銀河、オリオン大星雲、そしてムツラ星。期待が止まりません。
Yamada had been showing off multiple times greater eagerness than usual for a while now, and I could barely contain herself. I'll probably use it for a long time, so you gotta choose carefully.
はい、魂の友くらいになってほしいです。そのためにも先輩に来てもらうわけですし。
These days, ordering online would probably be easier and cheaper. Hold on. There you go, now it's better. No longer perfect. Perfect again. But she didn't do that. She said she wanted to decide by seeing and feeling it at the store herself, and I agreed.
私だけでは見えない部分もありそうです。付き添い感謝です。
It's no big deal. I wanted to go too. Even without plans to buy. Looking around at the audio astronomy equipment lined up would definitely be fun. Got excited inside, though not as much as Yamada.
バスが来ました。さあ、星の海に向かいましょう。
The first, like the start of that opening the bus door soundtrack, sound bite, didn't sound like the door of a bus opening. It sounded like somebody smashed in a window. Whoops, fuck. Hold on. I'm a retard. I followed her onto the bus to begin our day of fun. We arrived at Harbour Town and immediately started towards our destination. It was packed with people, as it would be on a day off, and squeezing through the crowd took effort. They thinned inside the shop, though, and the mood became somewhat quieter than the street outside. Pretty amazing seeing them like this. Numerous profoundly luxurious products lined the shelves. I was scared away by the overwhelming pressure.
この黒光り、漆黒の新宇宙にも通じる色彩ですね。
It definitely feels that way. I normally would have let it go with a yeah, I don't get it, but I felt like I could let it slide right now. I felt like these products could have fantastic results if we were able to use them for observations. Where's the one you looked into?
思ったよりたくさんあって。
Might be faster to ask an employee. Asking them let us try them would be better
な
too.
るほどです。店員さんを探しましょう。
I really like the soundtrack. We called an employee and asked about what she researched on the catalog. They soon told us what we were looking for.
試し覗きもよろしければどうぞ。実際に持ってみないとわからない部分もありますから。
We won't, thank you. That's a big ass telescope. That'll hurt after a while holding it. She took the binoculars and checked how they felt. Can I buy those?
思っていたより大きくて重く感じて。
Doesn't fit quite right.
かもしれません。
She looked a bit troubled while holding it. Reading those large binoculars with her small hands would get tiring. Then let's look at some others. We're already here, and we've got the time.
すみません。わがままを言ってしまうようで。
You're the one buying it, so that's fine. I'll hang out with you as much as you want.
ありがとうございます、先輩。
She then made a stern expression as she began her careful inspection. She thoroughly measured them up, testing various hand positions, having the employee adjusted when peeking through it. Maybe something aligned, but you might want at least a 50mm lens. You're using it Hoshino Naka, so the magnification?
場所によって違うんです。
Between light and dark places. If the magnification is too high, it'll be too dark to see the stars.
お、なかなかお詳しいですね。天体観測を趣味に？
ええ、部活で。こちら、天文部の偉大な先輩です。
星の中の天文部というと、もしかしてムツラ星の会に？
That's right. You know of us?
もちろん。おかげさまで今年はこういった機材の売れ行きが好調ですよ。プロジェクトスターライトを通して興味を持ったという人が多いですからね。
そんなことが、さすがの実績です。
私も応援してますよ。これからも頑張ってください。
Thank you. We both bowed at her encouragement. Being the Six Stars Club's reputation, even at a time like this, made me feel nothing but happy. Sensing the expansion of astronomy and the deep desire to choose something nice while beside me. How about this, Yamada? Is it too heavy? Took one from the shelf that she carefully stared at and held it to her. As long as it was light enough to use without a tripod, you could enjoy the stars with ease. At the same time, it had plenty of functionality as well.
これくらいなら大丈夫です。
She looked through the lenses and took several positions, checking out its feel.
これはズーム倍率を変えられるんです。
Yep, I figured you could use it to see all kinds of stars. It wasn't just for newcomers. Once you got used to using it, you could use a tripod and increase the magnification further.
さすが先輩、しっくりきますね。
I wonder how freaky it would feel to just look through and only increase the magnification on one side. Like, that would just fuck up your brain, wouldn't it? Like, I feel like that would hurt after a while. The price is within budget too. Not bad, huh?
はい、同感です。これを買いましょう。
She took her first pair of binoculars and gave a wide smile, a wide grin.
これが私たち天文部の偉大な一歩になるのです。
Smile, this unique, striking girl showed me was pure happiness given form. Her charm took my breath away. We finished shopping and he came outside.
この存在感、たまりませんね。
She swooned over the bag with the binoculars that she held. We did some good shopping, huh?
はい、今後の人生でも5子に入るでしょう。
Yes, that was quite the exaggeration, but I suppose she was that happy. Having up with that made me feel good too.
それで、この後は帰りますか？
Now we came all the way, so I checked the time. It was right around lunch, so I was feeling peckish. Want to grab lunch together somewhere?
先輩と一緒に？
Nah, you don't want to?
いえ、そんなことはないです。むしろ貴重な機会ですよ。
Valuable, I guess. We definitely didn't have many chances to eat together, or even in the same club. Looking back, her starting work at Saotori was what led to a day like this. I distinctly felt that our distance was closer than ever. And today's on me, so let's go anywhere you like.
それはさすがに恐縮では。
Hey, I'm freshly paid too. It's alright since I'm with you.
そっか。では、ごちそうになります。
Also, I do believe I've almost finished the entirety of, First off, I finished the entirety of, Shokugeki no Eroko-san in one night. And also, I've caught up with it at least, and I've also caught up with, treating a female knight that has never been treated as a woman, Or whatever the fuck the Japanese name's supposed to be. Hold on, let me just look this up. Hold up. Where is it? There we go. 今まで一度も女扱いされたことがない女騎士を女扱いする。I have no idea if that's how you pronounce any of that. But also, like, I finally caught up with that, and it's like, God, the main character is a goddamn weirdo. Yet he oddly reminds me of somebody I know. Anyways, and then there's also Shingeki no Eroko, which is... The plot is... Let me just open this. Shindo Eroko, a busty beauty with in glasses, found a job as a handyman at the Amaguri Handyman service. After her neat lifestyle came to an end due to her savings running out. She immediately falls in love on her first day of work with her colleague Hoshi, but he's a high school student while she is a 27-year-old, and basically she also has problems distinguishing her fantasies from reality at times. Like she has a whole Twitter account where she just posts her fantasies, and it's really popular. And as long as it's a really entertaining manga. She's also that goddamn nervous wreck and extremely easily embarrassed and basically everything I want. She's great, is what I'm trying to say. Okay then. That's her line. Her line. Did I want to act like a senior, or was there some other reason? I started walking with her while searching for a logic behind my own idea. We found a light cafe at the plaza and grabbed lunch there. We rested our bodies at the table for a while.
ごちそうさまです。今日は本当に楽しい日になりました。
Yamada had the bag next to her, not letting it out of reach. She rubbed it with a soft smile. We did get some good shopping done. Want to wander around a bit after this?
何ですか？その勉強とかは。
I've decided to hang out with you today. I'm gonna take the day to relax and have fun. Have my fun.
楽しいですか？
Yeah, it's fun talking with you. She sipped her after-meal coffee and slowly sighed. She quietly stared while mixing around her cappuccino with a spoon. The conversation suddenly died. Awkward. Anyway, now I've got one less worry.
心配事ですか？
I wanted to actually do something useful for the club as the former president. As long as I got to help you in that regard, I'm more than glad.
はい。これからは自力で観測ができます。
It might be easier to invite newcomers too. I can leave that to you. Although it did take advantage of her kindness. With this, the Ocean Daiichi Astronomy Club would be enriched. Having something versus not having something really did change perception. At any rate, I guess things will be stable without me now.
先輩がいなくなったら。
She whispered something I almost missed, but I caught full wind of it. She may have just uttered it without thinking, but I couldn't ignore the feelings it held. Her voice sounded as if she lamented my parting. Was it just my ego, or did she really feel lonely about it? The answer surely lied inside my own heart. Hey, Yamada.
はい、何でしょう。
She looked up at me. Sometime soon, if you want. Do you want to watch the stars together?
みんなで観望会ですか？
No, together. If you're up to it, that is.
先輩と私で？
Right after I said it, I wondered if it was too sudden, but it was a genuine wish of mine. It'd be lonely to just go on and graduate, so I wanted to do something before that.
むつら星の送別会もあるのでは？
It's fine for the Six Stars Club, but you're my special junior.
特別。
Ah! Itch. I hate itches. She was the first to come to the club, I alone occupied. We did our best together for a year until the next newcomers arrived. She said the astronomy club was comfortable, and I felt the same. Just like during work, like when we went shopping today, I realized how I truly enjoyed my time together with her. That was my reason behind my invitation. She thought for a moment.
はい。私でよければ。
She looked up and smiled. A smile as if to wipe away the loneliness from moments before. It suited her. I don't know when, but we can do it whenever it's convenient for you.
受験の前でも？
As long as I'm not right up against the wall. You should be able to tell, right?
私は頼 頼れる後輩ですからね。
My connection with her gradually developed from our relationship in the club. We had purely shared in that pleasantness.
では、考えておきます。
Yeah, I'll leave it to you. She finished off her cappuccino and let out a satisfied sigh. She hadn't looked at me with her usual proud smile.
では、もう少しハーバータウンを楽しみましょうか。
Well, let's. Don't hold back and let me know if there's any way you want to
貴
go.
重な機会ですし、私も楽しませてもらいます。
I felt a kind of relief at her high spirits. Maybe her accepting my invitation to stargaze alone together was more important to me than anything else. Because she was important to me. I downed the last of my coffee with that realization in mind.
それでは部長、私たちはこれで失礼します。はい、ごきげんよう。寒いから風に気をつけてね。では、マイヤのきらめきを胸に。マイヤのきらめきを胸に。
The juniors left the club room after exchanging our normal greeting. I loafed around alone. The atmosphere felt kind of nostalgic. If I had to compare it to something, it'd be like a rogue planet. The sea of my imagination spread before me as I closed my eyes. Oh, are we current? Oh, we are her. We are finally getting to experience the depths of Hinami's mind. Lone planet roaming about the galaxy, unbound by any gravitational fields, continuing its fated journey among the ocean of countless scattered stars, unable to grasp a single one. If the Earth were in the same situation, what future would await? For example, to escape the swelling sun at the end of its lifespan, humanity in the far future utilizes their technology to evacuate the system, home planet and all. Although the light of grace seems nearly frozen over, people live on with their remaining strength. Only the moon, its light lost, watches over them. If I happened to be there, what kind of sight would I see? Simply imagining it felt awe-inspiring. But maybe I should be happy I was born in the age where that existed only in imagination. In a world where the demise of the universe through the Big Crunch or the Big Rip, or the demise of the Earth through planetary collision or cosmic rays were but far-off scenarios. That was why I lived on now, with Senpai, our thoughts running with a universe overflowing with hope. The enigmas of space took my heart yet again.
危険かな。
Being alone was both good and bad. Even during work at Sao Tome, I often set off towards the endless expanse of space inside my mind. I had no difficulty flipping my switch to return to Earth the instant customers arrived, so it didn't cause inconvenience, but when a manager asked me what I thought about one time, it felt like she was slightly taken aback by my explanation. Corona too said she didn't really understand these kinds of thoughts. Was Senpai really the only one who could understand and tune into my worldview?
先輩。
I inadvertently whispered, then noticed. Even when I took flight among delusions, as I normally did, Senpai appeared as if he were right next to me. Recently, ever since the day we went shopping, I suppose, I'd become intensely aware of him. Perhaps these feelings existed much longer before that. My treasure sat in its case on top of the desk. I put my hand to it and thought. I bought these new binoculars with my first wage, but I probably cherished that day to a greater extent. So I asked a question to my heart that wavered like a variable star.
私の居場所。
Like the void in the gaps of a galaxy firmament, this clubroom held an undisturbed stillness. The space felt comfortable to me. That truth should have been beyond doubt. But lately that conviction was starting to be shaken. The reason being a change in my everyday life. I noticed my time working at Sao Tome felt comfortable too. And that day, the day I relished in my shopping trip together with Senpai, enjoyed talking with him from the bottom of my heart. Despite my wish to be together longer, that time flashed by in an instant. Like a gravitational well pulling in space-time around it, Senpai's massive presence sent my emotions into chaos. What the fuck is with these lines? At some point he became a giant star with such considerable influence over me. The reason for that, as well, was not beyond my imagination.
別れたくない。
Just as the stars in space were destined to spread further and further apart as space continuously expands, so were we destined to part and approach that future. Guess things will be stable without me now. When I heard those words that day, a chill assailed my body. It made me feel lonely. It made me wish we didn't have to split apart. Senpai might have noticed, so he offered that invitation. He wanted to watch the stars together. How delighted those words made me. It honestly made me leap for joy. You're my special junior. It felt good to be called special. Senpai and I could be together, meet each other in body and mind. I could be myself. He told me time for that still remained. I realized what it was. That place comfortable to me. The habitable zone I could be at peace in. It couldn't have been just this room, but next to special someone, next to Senpai. Oh, she actually gotta be the one to confess! Huh. Whew, it's gotten cold. We reached the middle of December and the sunset came earlier. I walked down the hallway, shrinking my body at the cold you could feel even indoors. Well, I made some good progress, so it isn't so bad once in a while. Neither Yamada nor I had shifted out to me today, since I should have been watching the store right around now. I couldn't do my studying in the store, since she'd probably be mumbling complaints, but I felt like doing it somewhere with people today. So I studied in the library after class until just a while ago, and made some good headway. Now, what to do? Could head straight home, but that would be a bit cold. Guess I'll check in again. Might as well show my face, if it was all the same. Someone was probably still around. I wanted to talk with Yamada for the amount we couldn't without work. With that in mind, I headed to the club room. Why do I have a bad feeling about this? Okay. Yeah, I had some free time, so I thought I'd open the door and called out without entering. Only Yamada was inside. She looked really shocked for an instant. Huh? What's wrong?
いえ、何も。ようこそ、先輩。
She greeted me back, and the usual calm face took over. Didn't think I should poke into it, so I put down my stuff without further worrying. Just you, huh? Were you up to
特
something?
には、試作にふけていただけです。
She must have been expounding on those cosmic and eccentric thoughts, as she always did.
先輩はここで勉強でも
No, I did that in the library until earlier. I'll be alright doing the rest at night.
休憩でしたら存分にどうぞ。
I took a load off at the president's permission and heaved a sigh. The unique atmosphere of this place was different from the library's quietness. After staying here overnight for a time, I was familiar with it as if it were my own house. We pass the time here sensibly now, but its charm still never changed. Yamada faced the computer wordlessly. Was she looking something up? No, her hands were awfully still for that. Watching a video? Thinking again?
言わなきゃ。
I heard a faint voice. Was she talking to herself? I watched her like that when she lifted her head and our eyes met.
先輩、お願いが。
Yes? Her expression looked serious. I straightened my back and faced her
双
properly.
眼鏡の使い方、教えてほしいんです。
The ones you bought before?
はい。コツとかよくわからないので、 実践で覚えるのがいいかなと。
You mean while actually looking at the sky?
はい。問題ないでしょうか。
I don't mind, but I'm not that informed either. So if we're doing it anyway, might as well call someone who knows more. Someone from Mordehai would have the knowledge, probably enough to teach me something too. But she shook her head.
いえ、先輩と二人で。
She spoke clearly, yet with a hint of hesitation. She stared at me with that same eager face of hers. It took me some time to guess at her intent. Mean what I talked about before?
はい。二人で星を見ようって。
I abruptly put my sentiments into words in the form of that stargazing invitation. Yamada earnestly accepted it. Both surprise and happiness formed inside me. Okay, in that case, let's see. Looked at the calendar on the wall and thought for a moment. How's next Saturday sound?
何かあるんです？
The moon should be beautiful that day. It's perfect for watching with binoculars.
月見ですか。悪くないです。
She smiled, either out of anticipation for the moon viewing or joy for my taking her invitation. Wait, wasn't it the reverse? I was the one who brought up going out somewhere together. Thanks. I was the one who invited you, so I'm happy you're going with me.
ここはお互い様です。
That, she opened the box with her binoculars and took out the instructions. Her careful movements, as if handling something precious, revealed her feelings. It was a memorable bite. The first thing she bought herself. Its lenses would, without a doubt, reflect tons of light from here on. We could meet that first step together. I felt an oddly intense pounding in my chest. Tired.
I will consume the souls of the living and dead.
I don't know why I did that. I don't know why I just randomly started talking with the voice of some kind of eldritch abomination. The weekend arrived. The clear expanse of sky blew away any fears of cloudiness. By the way, the chocolate is still in my mouth. It's just clinging to the top of my... to the inside of my mouth. Just like... up there. That morning, Yamada and I passed the time by ourselves at Sao Tome. Yamada stood at the register, handling customers. I devoted myself to studying at the rest space while watching over her. She could not manage a job alone without any issues, but we still often spent time together in the same space like this. We both accepted it as standard procedure without outright saying it, as if we missed savoring this atmosphere that once filled the club room.
お疲れ様。仕事も勉強も順調みたいね。
The manager came out from working the back and called out to us. We greeted her.
確か今日も夜は二人とも出かけるのよね。
はい、そうです。夜の店番はお願いします。
うん、任せといて。こっちは大丈夫だから。
Today was the long-awaited moon viewing. Yamada and I put our all into finishing what we need done during the afternoon. Sensei would handle the store tonight, but with Yamada recently increasing her shifts, she'd be just fine. Sorry to make you keep fitting our own schedules.
いいの、いいの。星を見るのもいい息抜きになるでしょ。勉強ばっかりじゃ疲れちゃうだろうし。だから今日も楽しんでおいで。
お言葉に甘えさせていただきます。
Yamada helped the manager tidy up the shelves behind the counter. Another familiar sight recently. The manager seemed to have to take quite the liking to Yamada's devotion. I could tell she spoiled her like a daughter or a granddaughter. The way Yamada worked so hard with that small frame would definitely make her popular with various people. I mean, I was no exception.
今日もむつら星の会で集まるの？
Come think of it, we told her we were going out, but nothing about the details. But I wonder how she'd think about it being the two of us. Maybe being vague would be for the better.
いえ、今日は先輩と二人です。月を見に行きます。
So much about being vague. Or so I thought when Yamada answered casually.
え？空見くんと？
はい、そうです。
あらそうだったのかい。まあいいんじゃないかしらね。
She nodded as if convinced of something. I managed to guess at how she thought about it. But going out of my way to deny it felt off. Yamada didn't seem to mind, so I decided not to butt in.
先週買った双眼鏡の初出動なんです。
なるほどね。双眼鏡で月も見えるんだ。
はい。他にも星団とか銀河とか。
They had a friendly chat while continuing their work. They both looked like they were having fun. I had to progress in my studying myself while I could, so we could head out without worry. I lit a new fire in me and set about the reference problems. Night. Finished preparing and went outside. Stars twinkled in the clear sky, letting us forget about the December chill.
お待たせしました。
Yamada handed off her work and came out slightly later. She held the binocular case dearly. You could say they were the lead role today. You cold?
平気です。産経放射と比べればぬるいくらいですよ。
What? It is, huh? Well, don't push yourself. We'll be in the mountains after all.
ラジャです。
We got on our bikes and headed to our destination. Starlight penetrated the winter night air. We came to the observation spot near the reservoir that we used frequently for the Six Stars Club's meetings. Today we were the only ones there. The vacant clearing met us with silence. The night sky stretched above us, but the near full moon's light tonight kept many stars from standing out. That was fine, though. It was today's main dish. We stopped our bikes, entered the thicket, and began climbing the slope. Yamada followed behind me as I held the flashlight, looking down a little. Careful where you step. Is it hard to walk?
あ、いえ、大丈夫です。
She answered with her gaze still down. Are you sure? You've been staring at your feet for a while now.
今ここで月を見たら、後の楽しみが減ってしまう気が。
I involuntarily grinned at her deadly serious response. We're in the woods, so it's still okay. More importantly, be careful not to fall, okay? Stretched out my hand and took hers. She was a bit shocked, but squeezed back without resistance. I couldn't see her expression well in the darkness, but I felt it from her heart along with her heartbeat, with her body heat, not heartbeat. But I felt that from her heart along with her body heat. I continued up the mountain path with that sensation. We finally arrived at our destination, the abandoned train car we called our secret observatory. The overgrown brush came to an end, and the open lot commanded a perfect view of the skies.
むつら星の神殿。いつ見ても壮麗な景色です。
Sanctuary?
はい。プレアデスを守るお牛の宮殿とも言えますね。
See, that kind of romance isn't so bad, huh? This place was used as storage for the Six Stars Club and helped the Pleiades won. Alright, no problem with footholds.
先輩、何を？
Oh yeah, you've never seen the stars from up here.
はい。初めてですね。
You could certainly see them well from where this place overlooks the slope, but an even greater view awaited atop its roof. I wanted to teach Yamada about that scenery I had known for so long. Hup! Beam climbed up with the same movements I'd repeated over and over. Then I stretched my arm out to Yamada below. Alright, you too. Put your foot there and I'll pull you up.
はい、お願いします。
Oops. She followed my instructions without hesitation and grabbed my hand. I could feel her trust, even in something so trifling. I heaved her up. She reached the top, then looked up. She let out a voice of delight. The view overlooking the slope from this roof showed us an even vaster sky than we could normally see from down below. Yamada remained as she was for a while, seemingly shaken by the stars before her eyes. I stood next to her, supporting her body, and spoke. Now let's start. First, adjust the binoculars.
はい、手順は確認済みです。
She took them in her hands. As to be expected from how carefully she examined them before making her decision, she already seemed used to them. First, she put it to her eyes and checked the width of the eyepiece lens. She worked with familiarity as if she'd thoroughly practiced.
次は適当な星に向けてピントの調整。
Next, she pointed them to the sky and focused them. She attentively spun the dial, adjusting one eye at a time.
できました。
Right, let's get right to looking at the moon. Be careful not to shake too much.
はい。
Senpai urged me to look through the binoculars at the moon. Its large, bright form soon reflected into the small lenses. It looked overwhelmingly different from the naked eye. It took my breath away. I heard Senpai propose to watch the moon, then looked things up myself and learned various things. The shining full moon was indeed easy to see, but it lost its solidity when lit up from the front. That was why we decided on this one night, when it was slightly off from being totally full. The light of the sun hit the edges of the waned moon's profile, making the bumps of the three-dimensional surface easy to see. With these binoculars, you could clearly see things we otherwise couldn't.
私の月。
I obtained these binoculars myself with money I earned myself. The moon in these lenses was without a doubt mine. No, that may not have been accurate. Couldn't have worked at Sao Tome or shopped at Harbour Town on my own. This was, so to speak, Senpai and I's moon. I think that was fitting. I sighed and let down the binoculars, bringing the beautiful starry sky into view. In spite of the moon's brilliance, stars were scattered beyond the clear atmosphere. How was it?
感動しました。いい言葉が見つかりませんが、普段の観望会よりも、今の一瞬が心に響いて。
I wondered if I exaggerated too much after I said it, but I couldn't lie about the impact I just felt. More than normal, huh? I can kinda understand that. Senpai smiled gently at my excitement. I'm the same. The first thing I saw with my telescope was the moon.
そうなんですか？
He started speaking while looking at the sky. At first I didn't know how to even use it. I thought the thing was busted, but someone taught me how to look at the stars right. And the first thing I saw was the moon.
先輩。
I didn't exactly know any details as to how we started stargazing. But still, we both had our hearts moved upon looking at the same moon. That alone made me beyond happy. I already knew why. It was why I was here today. Want to look at some others while we're at it? I don't know if they'll be very visible, but...
はい。もっと見たいです。アンドロメダ銀河にオリオン大星雲。私たちのプレアデス星団。他にもヒアデス星団、プレセペ星団。
As I looked all over the sky, several names I'd learned came to mind. I wanted to burn their light into my heart with my binoculars. I wanted to remember this day together with Senpai. I thought of nothing but that when...
それから、
Whoa, whoa, careful! Senpai held my arm as I nearly lost my balance, taken by the sky.
ありがとうございます。
This touch quickened my heartbeat. Could he have noticed? No, there was no need to worry over that, because my heart was already decided.
素晴らしいお空でした。
Yamada lowered her binoculars after having her fill of stargazing. Her face was a little red and her stirred heart was easy to understand. Must be on a different level when it's binoculars you paid for yourself. I'm glad you're so happy.
先輩も見ますか？双眼鏡貸しますよ。
No, I'm okay. Let's stargaze again, together again soon. We can pick a day when the moon isn't so bright. If you're okay with that, it is. If you're okay with it, that is.
ぜひ、よろしくお願いします。
She spoke with a spring in her voice. Lately, she's shown me these emotions much more frequently. Or was it that I recognized them more clearly now? Got to get a good look at the night sky for the first time in a while. I've got to thank you. Well, ready to head down? I looked down to where we climbed up from, but something pulled me back. Yamada? She gripped my hand in silence, her eyes cast downward. But she finally raised her head and looked straight at me.
その、繰り返しになるのですが、
Her dauntless words pierced me to the core and echoed in the quiet
先
air.
輩には感謝しています。いえ、それよりもずっと前から、私に居心地がいい場所をくれて、天文部で過ごす時間は
Fuck.
本
Whoops.
当に楽しかったです。
Feel the same? It was fun being with you. Memories rushed back to me. The days of the club with her. I was at a loss at first and hesitated on how to act like a senior. It was shocking for someone like me who never had someone like a junior, for better or worse. But I interacted with her like it was natural now. Her being by my side became part of my daily life. Not just at the astronomy club, but working at Saotome and times like this. To borrow her words, it was a comfortable place for me to belong. This change in my frame of mind felt strange in some ways, but natural in others. Either way, it was how I really felt. So I couldn't really bring myself to deny it. I had to take it. And her gaze head on. I'm glad I had you.
そう言ってもらえると嬉しいですね。おかげで私も言いたかったことが言えそうです。
To me?
はい。聞いてくれますか？
Yeah, of course. She put her hand to her chest and took a breath. Her face filled with resolve. She held me in her sights without hiding her redness. I waited for the words to follow.
これからは私たちの天文部、先輩の心を引き継いで頑張ります。そのことに不満はないです。でもそれだけじゃなくて。
She then looked down. Until now, she only showed me this expression for an instant, or on a whim. Now she displayed it honestly, without a mind for appearances. Her plain sadness.
それが嫌だって拒んでいる私も重ね合わせで存在しています。シュレディンガーの山田ひなみですね。
I didn't know Schrödinger kept slaves, because that's what it sounds like.
できるならまだまだ先輩と一緒にいろんなことをやりたいなって。
You don't want us to part?
そういうことです。
She answered with a wry smile, like she acknowledged her
引き
selfishness.
止めよう 今みたいに先輩と後輩のまま別れてしまうのは嫌なんです。膨張する宇宙で加速度的に距離が離れていて、先輩が放つ過去の光だけを見るなんて、そんな関係で終わりたくないんです。
She was a normal girl, a few words. She was normally a girl of few words, but she continued on without stopping. She must have wanted to convey that for a long time. I understood the weight of her feelings from her voice and behavior.
私にとって天文部は居心地のいい場所です。でも最近になって大事なことに気づきました。私にとっては先輩の隣が天文部以上に居心地のいい場所だった。
I probably shouldn't be doing this while she's pouring her heart out. That's kind of ruining the moment, isn't it?
だからこれからも先輩のそばにいたいんです。特別な後輩というだけじゃダメです。私はもっと先輩の特別になりたい。なのでちゃんと言います。
She took a single deep breath. I quietly watched her do so, adding nothing. Or maybe I was just mesmerized by her moonlit figure. A heavy atmosphere permeated this place, making me hesitate to flippantly touch on anything.
私は先輩に惹かれています。先輩のことが好きです。だからお願いします。先輩の恋人にしてほしいです。
Whoops. My contact with her recently, the closing of our distance right before our parting. Today's stargazing. To say I wasn't aware of her feelings would be a lie. Yet her confession sent no small impact to my heart. I had a deep breath and looked up. The nearly full moon watched over us. The night sky we saw here today was carved into our hearts, not just hers. At some point, she became more special to me than anything else. It didn't take long for my calm heart to put into words what needed to be said. If you're okay with me, I would love that. Thus, I firmly accepted my cute junior's confession. Her eyes went wide and she blinked several times. Yamada?
すみません。返事を返事として受け止めるのに時間がかかっていました。
Her face was red enough to notice even in the moonlight. Was she reprocessing the meaning behind her words and my answer?
つまり告白成功。
Yeah, that was my intent. I'm your boyfriend starting from today. Her expression seemed to say she couldn't hold back smiling. Among the happy and sad faces I'd seen from her until now, it was the purest, sweetest smile of them all.
先輩。
She drew close to me. The sensation of her tiny body came through even her coat. It was nice and warm enough to stave off the chill around us. Yamada? I tenderly took her hand. She entwined her fingers between mine and squeezed back.
もう一つお願いしていいですか。
She peeked at me from close up as if begging me, making my pulse quicken. What is it?
山田さんでは他人行儀ですし、もっと別の呼び方がいいです。
It was definitely a reasonable request. I called her such since meeting her, but it didn't fit our new
ひ
relationship.
なみんでいいですよ。
But isn't that a little too close? Maybe something a little more modest?
恋人ってそういうものでは。
Well, there are those people's eyes to consider. What would they think if they heard that? I felt like they would accept it relatively readily, but also like I would exhaust myself mentally. How about Hinami?
その1はコロナの役目かと。
Intended to be similar affection toward her, but I suppose she had her own delineations. Then Hinami?
ひなみシンプルですがいいですね。今までよりも近い感じ。4光年くらいでしょうか。
Isn't that pretty far?
もっと呼んでください。そうすればどんどん近くなります。
Got it, Hinami. She pulled in closer this time, rubbing herself into me like a small animal. She was just too precious. I held her with one hand. And what about you? Staying with Senpai?
考えていませんでした。
She tilted her head in thought. Her hair hit me as she did, tickling me slightly.
アキトさん。アキト様。
No. Why did I feel uneasy?
やっぱり先輩でしょうか。他はしっくりきません。
Yeah, I'm fine with that. I'm used to
い
it.
つかは変わるかもしれませんし。
Down the line.
旦那様とか、あなたとか。
She is fantasizing, isn't she? Wow, my face was definitely red. She scarcely thought to hide or restrain her emotions, but that was part of her charm. Come to think of it, she was always straight as an arrow. Despite her unique actions, her heart was honest. She obeyed it and leapt into the astronomy club, followed after me, and walked with me until now. Up to now. Yeah, that was the kind of girl she was. Alright, guess it's about time to go home.
はい、そうですね。一番言いたいことは言えましたから。それに、一番欲しい言葉もです。
She smiled. A dazzling smile that I saw closer than anyone else. She would stand by me from now on as my girlfriend. We left the train car and came down to the usual spot. It's late, so I'll take you back. I spoke to Hinami. She was always my junior, but was now my lover. I wanted to show off my new desire to protect her right away.
どこへ？
But she reacted unexpectedly and beyond my considerations. Where? Your house?
言い忘れていました。
She clapped her hands together, finally realizing her gap in
今夜
understanding.
は先輩のところに泊まっていくと両親に言ってあるのです。
What? Hold on. This time I was the one to let out the confused voice.
なので、一緒に早乙女に帰りましょう。
I thought there wouldn't be a sex scene. You were staying at my place. What exactly did that imply? There's no way you didn't tell them about me, right? I wasn't some friend like Corona, right?
うちはおおらかな教育方針でして、私の意思は尊重してくれてます。
That's gracious and all, but wait, seriously?
はい、本気です。私だってちゃんと分かってますよ。
She went into this confession ready to fuck! What? That is fast! Corona! I know you like space, but that doesn't mean you need to jump forward light years in mere seconds! My God, you're gonna give the poor man whiplash! What?
恋人同士で一緒に夜を過ごすんです。何も起こらないわけないですよね。
So, the person posted new screenshots of Kake just saying, "That's a good question. Now go stand in the corner, in the corridor." I feel the need to add some. My 6th grade maths teacher. There's, by the way, a real story. My 6th grade math teacher actually gave me the permission to leave whenever in the middle of the in the middle of class, because this maths teacher realized, hey, I have ADHD, and while I have a relative good control over it, sometimes I would get a bit too much energy. So she basically said, hey, if you ever feel like you can't concentrate anymore in class and need to expend some energy, go ahead, leave the room and just like run around the corridors a bit. So yeah, that's something that actually happened. So yeah. Yeah. Felt my heart rate distinctly quicken at her distinctler. I did anticipate this kind of relationship at some point, but
それともダメですか？
You're giving the poor man whiplash! There we go. Of course I do. Responded to her coaxing gaze immediately. I couldn't lie to myself. Despite it being this late in the game, I realized how serious our mutual love for each other was.
ならよかったです。ありがとうございます、先輩。
No, thank you. Listen to this, guys. I realized something just now. Hinami is a predator. I couldn't bring myself to deny her. I was wrapped around her finger.
行きましょう。
Like they're gonna enter his room. She's literally just gonna immediately push him down on the bed, just rip open his shirt. Ah! Yeah. With expectations swelling, we started pedaling our bikes. Silence enveloped my room. I normally studied alone, or looked up at the sky around this time. But not now! The girl sitting on my knees before me flipped the whole room's mood. This ridiculously cute girl I only just became lovers with. Yeah, our change of relationship must have already made considerable influence over me mentally. Hinami looks so much more cuter than usual. Whoops, I accidentally said so much more cuter. Well, I do believe it makes it a bit better because he decided to like, what's the goddamn word? It wasn't superlative. Hold on. The regular is positive, the second comparative, and the third is superlative. So I was wrong. So I put the comparative into comparative. It's like superlative without using superlative. And we would now spend the night together. After me from yesterday heard that, he'd doubt his ears or faint, but in reality I had no room for that. I got home late, so Satoma was already closed, and I managed to... seemed to be resting. I really couldn't just greet her like, oh yeah, she's staying the night, so we snuck up to my room. She We're staying the night. What will we do about tomorrow morning? No matter how we swung it, anyone would be able to guess at what happened. Probably couldn't escape it, so I guess being honest would be the best thing to do. Like, I'm sorry for my selfishness after you took me in, or...
それでどうすればいいのでしょうか。
No, knock it off. I can think about that later. I had to focus on the girl in front of me right now. I had no experience, of course, so I didn't know if I'd be any good. Right, all I could do was show my sincerity. Let's do our best!
はい。よろしくお願いします。
Felt like she misunderstood my words, but she meekly nodded. I heard my resolve and touched her hand. A faint trembling came off it.
やっぱり緊張しますね。私から言い出したことなのに。
It's only natural. I'm nervous too.
そうですか。冷静そうに見えるのですが。
I'm desperately trying to hide it. I don't want to show her anything pathetic. It wouldn't be good for her if I got flustered. Don't know if I'll be any good, so I apologize in
大
advance.
丈夫です。
Whoops, she likely was thinking the same thing. She took deep breaths and relaxed her body.
優しくしてくれればそれで十分です。先輩のこと信じてますから。
Okay, then, here I go. Faced her, nodded, then held her small body close. Oh, fuck. Ah, she's wearing hot pants. Intriguing. Oh, that's actually not yet something I have to censor. I can actually show this. It's kinda cute. Anyways, see you after the sex scene. Okay, now it's over. I fucked up there. I'm sorry. I'm gonna check that. Like, if it's still in there, you realize what I'm apologizing for. If it's no longer in there, you realize why it's why it's no longer in there. Basically, I accidentally forgot that like accidentally unpaused because I unpaused the recording to update people on the fact that I found this. My stupid brother put it behind me when he got the Switch, and yeah. Didn't find it, so I found it, so I unpaused the recording for a bit to tell people. And then I apparently didn't press it properly, and it never stopped. It never paused again. At some point, the curtain of night had enveloped the outside. We passed the time together in the quiet clubroom as always. Calm down.
前よりもすごい感じだった気がします。
Sorry.
謝ることでは気持ちよかったですから。
As a result of our long deed, combined with the appropriate time to rest after such, it was already this late. We didn't have work today, so there was no issue there. But it was looking like we'd be heading home later than I thought. What'll we do about the time? I wonder if we got scolded.
時間をかけて大掃除すると申請してますから、多分大丈夫です。それに、うちの親にも今夜は遅くなるかもと言ってあります。
She sure was prepared, but thinking about how it was her efforts to spend time with me. It made me grateful. Then I guess I'll go home after resting a bit longer. Then I guess we'll go home after resting a bit longer.
それなんですが、一応用意が。
She slowly stood up and bopped over to the window. Then she opened it. The winter air flowed in, making me involuntarily shrink up. Huh?
よいしょっと。大丈夫。
Right as I wondered what she was up to, she held up something she left outside and faced back this way. Closed the window and brought it to the desk. It was a hand-sized box, carefully covered in wrapping paper inside a plastic bag.
保冷剤 OK。問題なさそうです。
She unwrapped it and out came cake?
クリスマスイブですからね。
It was a smallish decorated cake with cream, already cut up and ready to eat. She took out plastic forks and paper plates from her bag. She really was thorough. She was admirable and earnest, spared no efforts in thinking of me wholeheartedly. Her perseverance almost brought a tear to my eye.
私と先輩でささやかなお祝いです。
She gave me a gentle smile. Her clear voice resonated within my heart.
地球の公転軌道の中ではただの一瞬でしかありませんが、私たち恋人にとっては特別でしょう。
She then held out a slice of cake and fork to me.
一日早いですが、メリークリスマスです。
Yeah, Merry Christmas. Took a bite right after exchanging those remarks. It's pretty good.
はい。きっと雰囲気補正もありますけど。
That was my elbow. That cracking sound. Worrying, I know. Still good. Anything you gave me would be. She arranged this in order to celebrate together with me. It sent emotion seeping deep into my chest.
先輩。
And I had an inkling as to the reason why. While chewing on that, Hinami called out to me. Oh, sorry. I was just thinking I never got to celebrate Christmas like this much. It's kind of really nostalgic.
先輩。
Probably not since my parents were alive and, well, living a normal life. When I lost them and my grandfather took me in, I distanced myself. Even considering stargazing with the Six Stars Club, our Christmas gatherings were usually underneath the stars, so celebrating in this quiet room and around a cake like this was a feeling I'd long forgotten.
後輩じゃなくて恋人ですからね。これからは毎年こんな風にお祝いしましょう。私と先輩二人で。
Fuck. Right, I look forward to it. We spent this Christmas Eve together. It was different from the time we spent in the past. It was, though I never even imagined it at the time, our relationship felt obvious now. To me, Hinami was my precious junior, a congenial co-worker, a lover I exchanged feelings with, and the one I had my first time with. All of them were the bonds that connected us.
先輩と出会ってから思えばいろいろありました。
Yeah, and all of it feels nostalgic.
今日あったこともきっといつか私たちの懐かしい思い出になる。こんなこともあったねって先輩と笑い合うんだって。
Just like the time we looked up at the sky on top of the train car that night. Hinami quietly, tenderly stared at me.
私は先輩の恋人です。そしていつかはきっと
Whoops. She revealed the feelings she kept hidden deep down. So I took firm hold of them. Right. I'll be the same. She grinned and put her fingers over my
こ
hand.
れからも私は先輩を愛し続けます。
We exchanged a vow on this Christmas Eve. We would go on, finding where we belonged. The girl called Hinami Yamada was a widow who looked at the world in a unique way. My fun-filled days with her weren't over yet. Seasons changed and spring came. The spring winds came along with March. Even today, my last day at Hoshino Daiichi was blanketed by the pleasant weather, vulnerable to the flow of the seasons. Well, I think I'd have chances to visit as an alumnus, but that was important at times like this. Anyway, we managed to make it. Toshino Daichi's graduation ceremony. Went about the day feeling refreshed with that hint of melancholy. That's right, I passed my exams and was going to college. From this point on, I took steps towards a new life. Goodbye. The ceremony ended and I finished meeting with my close friends and juniors and started for home. Verbally, that was all. But emotionally, this time had greater meaning to me. I stood in front of my nostalgic school at the crossroads of my life. One step beyond this gate was a new world. The step was more valuable than I'd ever taken before. I closed my eyes and took a deep breath, and waited for her words in silence.
Senpai.
Stargazer! Yes! Sorry, a familiar voice. Looked back and saw the girl I held dear. Hinami. Faint tears welled in her eyes. It was nothing but a temporary parting, but I couldn't deny this tightness in my chest. But I would continue onward. That was life. Looked on at my lover with that answer in my eyes.
わかっています。引き止めたりはしません。
Yeah. Those words don't fit a day like today.
先輩のことは忘れませんから。ずっと
I feel like,
そばにいますから。
I honestly feel like this should have been the scene before the ending credits and after ending credits. It should just be him on his college. The new juniors are all coming in, and the ceremony of them just greeting the juniors. Just among the huge crowd of new students, just sees her or something like that. Either that or them just being married with kids. That I'll always be happy about that kind of after credit scene. Thanks.
どんな未来が来ても、この星が消えてなくなる日が来ても、人々が見果てぬ星の海に旅立つその時でも、私の居場所は先輩の隣です。
Of course, I won't let you go either.
先輩、大好きです。
Love you too, Hinami.
こんな感じでいいですよね。
Yeah, feel satisfied?
我ながら最高だったと思います。
She gave a thumbs up with a smug smile. They were only playing up the drama in response to Hinami's wish to see this kind of graduation ceremony.
先輩も感動したでしょ?
It wasn't bad, but boy do we stand out. We seemed to garner quite some attention given our location. Passing people sent us strange gazes.
何はともあれ、これで先輩を送り出せますね。
Yeah, thanks to you, I feel refreshed. People probably had their own differing sentiments. Tearful goodbyes, huge parties with all your friends. And there I was, talking normally with the enemy as if nothing had changed. I thought this kind of exchange would suit us best.
先輩、一つだけお願いがあります。
The soundtrack was called Promise, I think, so. She put her hand to her chest and spoke longingly.
先輩の消えない思い出の証をください。
No, you're too young for a child! I know, promise is a promise. To kind of promise a junior common at graduation ceremonies. I did give her something in order to leave her with unfading memories.
第3ボタンを私にください。
Huh? Did I mishear? What's the second button you gave to girls on graduation, right? Didn't bother quipping about how old a tradition it was, or the fact that my uniform used a blazer, not a straight standard jacket. Yeah, okay. Walked up to her and pointed out my second
いや、
button.
それだと違うじゃないですか。
Huh? What? She stretched out her hand to my uniform, ignoring my own hand, went to the very bottom button. Whoa! Then, with unexpected force, pulled it out.
ありがとうございます。大切にします。
Whoops. Wait, hold up. Isn't it the second button?
私としてはこちらの方が重要 要です。
Why?
だってほら、先輩の頭を太陽に見立てると、3つ目のボタンは
Earth?
そうです。つまりこれが先輩が私にくれた居場所を象徴するものなのです。
How poetic. I accepted that unwavering style of hers. She carried with a wry smile. This felt more like her than some trite tradition.
先輩は私に心地よいぬくもりをくれる太陽のような人です。だからこれでいいんです。
Oops, I see. In that case, take good care of it.
もちろんです。
The spring wind suddenly blew between us. We stared into each other's eyes for a moment. She squeezed a button in her hands and finally opened her mouth.
そしてもう一つの
Oh, and it's Dear Good Friends. Those are the two best soundtracks in this entire fucking game. Just Dear Good Friends and Stargazer. Is this the calm version or the actual original version? Let me just listen to this. I was tagged? It is the calm version, okay. Yep. It looks like things will go smoothly. I'll be moving somewhere close to campus. My stay at Sao Tome ended and my new life began.
これでしばしのお別れで
Once
す。
again, I feel more sad about the fact that he's moving out of Sao Tome. I'll be lonely. She knew that already, but probably still had her own thoughts on it. We couldn't be together in the same way we had been until now. But that was the end of it. It was impossible for our relationship to crumble. Well, it won't be too far away. I'll come hang out when I get the chance.
はい。待っています。
And also, she can probably stay over whenever she's on break, if she wants to. I replied with a smile, and she did the same. My girlfriend's celebration of my departure brought me relief. The clear sky stretched above on a day in March. The plaza between Sao Tome and the station felt a little different from normal. I went back and forth carrying luggage between Sao Tome and a parked truck. The manager and I, plus her husband, were working hard.
ほいっと父ちゃん、そっちの箱お願いできます？
わかった。
Is that the first time we heard him? It's surprisingly heavy, so be careful.
これくらい楽そうだ。
We piled numerous cardboard boxes into the back of the truck. My personal belongings I'd brought from my room filled them. I didn't think I would have that much, but stuff piles up quite a bit over more than a year. Really, thank you. You're even going as far as preparing a
い
car.
いんだよ。空見くんは家族みたいなもんなんだから。父ちゃんもそうでしょ？
そういうことだな。
I initially planned to hire movers to help me, but the manager's husband said he knew a guy to borrow a truck from. So we ended up taking my stuff to my new place early with that, rather than with movers. Thanks to that, my expenses lightened, and I could bring just a personal bag on the day I actually planned to move there. They did nothing but help me out with anything and everything. I had to be sure and thank them later.
いよいよ来たかって感じだけど、寂しくなるね。
It's not like we'll never meet again. The place I'm moving to is pretty close, isn't it?
まあ、車で1時間ちょいか。
An hour by car isn't that close. I was moving, but I was still within the prefecture. I could come back anytime I felt like it. Plus, I'll only be going there for the first year. I'll be in the Hoshinonaka campus my second.
そういえばそんなことも言ってたね。部屋はちゃんと開けとくよ。
My college had many campuses. There was even one in Hoshinonaka City. So why won't they offer the entire fucking year there? It's fucking stupid. Why am I blinking so much right now? In my department's case, I would go there my second year. As long as I get credit for my first year, I would be able to come back no problem.
となると、ゼがヒデも単位を揃えてもらわないとですね。
Hinami, who was working, came out to the front. She had taken off her apron and wore her normal clothes. Hinami, didn't you have work?
早乙女 OG に代わってもらいました。
Wow, that was
今
incredible.
日のうちに運ぶ荷物はまだありますよね。手伝います。
Alright, the rest is a suitcase of clothes
思
and,
い出の天体望遠鏡ですね。
yeah. I had the option to leave it with the club, since they were low on equipment, but in the end I decided to bring it with me. Even if my surroundings differed from Hoshinonaka, we shared the same sky. Hinami's binoculars and my telescope. We would surely be able to spend time together, gazing at the same stars. With Hinami's help, we finished loading the rest of the stuff. Alright, everything's together. It's all piled in.
準備できたか？じゃあ行くぞ。
わかりました。少々お待ちを。
With that, Hinami went back inside Sao Thomas for a moment. She came out with a large bag after a while. Then she clambered into the back of the with all the boxes. What is it? Is there something else? Was it something she wanted to bring other than what I prepared? I didn't have the slightest idea. Right then, she poked her head through a gap of the luggage and gave a thumbs up.
こちらも準備 OK です。
What? Hinami?
なんでしょう。
We'll end up taking you along if you stay
は
there.
い。
No, not
こ
correct.
れもまた恋人の務めです。
Excuse me?
あらあら。
ん？
Whoops.
どうした？
Well, Hinami's in the back.
先輩の引っ越し先を私もチェックしておきたいので。
What? What was even happening?
遠距離恋愛の恋人ですからね。
Like I said, it's not that
まあ
far.
まあいいじゃない。向こうで荷ほどきの手伝いもできるでしょ。
お任せください。バイトは早退ということでよろしくです。
了解。空見くんのことよろしくね。
But, we can't have you riding in the back, right?
おー、荷物の見張り扱いなら大丈夫だぞ。
世界が私を肯定しています。あとは先輩次第ですよ。
You never change. I replied to her proud smile with a wry one myself. She carved her own path, tying her down with common sense or some such would be unreasonable. I was her boyfriend, so of course I'd understand that.
じゃあ、どうする？助手席に乗るか？それとも。
He asked while slipping into the driver's seat. I thought while looking Hinami's way. Two people wouldn't fit in the passenger seat. One way would have me getting tossed around on the way to our destination. Regardless, I couldn't consider riding with us split up. Sorry, would it be okay if I got in the back too?
じゃあ行くぞ。
先輩も物好きですね。
Birds of a feather. I got in the back too and sat down next to her. We squeezed into the small packed-in trunk bed, but this kind of trip didn't feel bad. The engine started and the car vibrated lightly.
それじゃ行ってらっしゃい。気をつけるんだよ。
Yeah, I'll see you later. Thank you.
先輩の新たな生活の地をこの目で確かめてきます。
We both waved goodbye. The manager's husband took the signal and set off. We drove down the highway under the sunny sky. The bed was cramped and uncomfortable. We felt the violent shaking of the car. But I could cuddle close to Hinami all the more, occasionally leaning against her from the momentum, savoring the sensation of her body.
こんな機会あんまりないですね。
This is a really nice CG. I really like it.
常接近ですよ、これは。
Why are none? Hold on. This is an open truck. Why are none of these boxes fixated? What? Are they mad? I thought there was like a proper truck with like a proper door and stuff like that. But like, it's fine. I guess I was wrong. But they didn't fixate the boxes. They're gonna fall off at a fucking curve, you idiots. The next shot bright. Then goodbye telescope. Whoops! There goes the port collection. What? Actually, no, sharp right would cause this box right here to go straight into Hinami's head. That's definitely rare.
着いたら、今日のうちにやることはあります？
Not much, I'd say. I plan to get luggage together gradually.
なら、余裕はありますね。
Leeway?
今日は私、泊まっていきますから。
As bold as ever. That bag was stuffed for overnight, wasn't it?
ということです。だから、
Yeah, I know. I meet her begging gaze. I've finished my exams, and from my studying to now, we'd added sex a number of times along the way. With each time, my feelings for her deepened. She too surrendered surrendered to them and desired me. Seems that sort of relationship will continue even after moving.
先輩と一緒に寝て起きて、先輩のためにご飯を作って、先輩の部屋の掃除をして、
She would definitely be a good housewife, I feel.
悪くないです。衛星のように先輩のそばに。
Yeah, okay, calm down there, Luna Plutz. Wait, what? I feel bad having you do all that for me,
いい
though.
んです。やりたいんです。恋人をいたわってくれれば、それで十分ですよ。だから、授業が始まっても、そうですね。毎週末には先輩の世話をしに行きたいところです。
Going that far? What about your job at South Dome?
もうその問題が。ならば、うちの後輩に早乙女のバイトを紹介してみましょう。
It's kind of like working at South Dome has become customary for the astronomy club. Thinking about starting my new life this spring made me excited. It will probably be vastly different from what it's been up to now, and I would likely meet unexpected hardships. But even me would be there with me. Seemed far closer than I had thought too. I could handle it for sure like this. I've come in here, large or small. Hinami did her best for me, so I could work hard myself. That was the absolute power we loved. That was the absolute power we loved each other and would live together by.
私が先輩を支えて、先輩が私を守ってくれて、これからも寄り添って生きていくのです。連星のように光り続けるのです。
Ah, I look forward to it. She leaned against me, swaying with the truck. I held her in my arms and felt her warmth.
約束ですから。
Then we kissed each other. It brought blessings upon our new future, upon the beautiful night between us. There we go! I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Why am I immediately going into the... Oh yeah, because it's getting late and I still want to play some Among Us. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this one and see you next time. Bye-bye. Next time's Corona.